Hey guys, CFAR here, and welcome back to the final series on ARK Survival Evolved. So, last episode we went ahead and made this, and honestly, this was an upgrade that we genuinely... Hey guys, CFAR here, and welcome back to the final series on ARK Survival Evolved. So, last episode we went ahead and upgraded the greenhouse, and honestly, I couldn't be happier with this upgrade. This looks absolutely awesome, and honestly, I think we're actually already starting to get a little bit of yield, which is absolutely cool. Maybe not yield, but we are definitely getting a little bit of progress here, honestly, and I'm really excited to see how this is going to look once these guys are actually producing stuff for us. I really like the dung beetles in the middle, too. I don't know. To me, it just fits the entire thing, but genuinely, I'm really happy with this build. Now, guys, I do want to apologize again. Obviously, yesterday's episode was supposed to come out on Monday. Once I jumped into the editing software, I actually realized that it was over 3.5 hours of content to show you guys, and obviously, I can't do a 3.5 hour video for you guys. So, what I ended up doing is we're basically splitting the unrecorded or the unedited version of yesterday. Oh god, do this again. So today we're going to do part 2. Yeah, just say it like that. Hey guys, CFAR here, and welcome back to the final series on ARK Survival Evolved. So last episode we went ahead and made this greenhouse, and honestly, this was an upgrade that we genuinely needed. I am absolutely loving this greenhouse, and we're actually starting to get a little bit of progress. I don't know if we have any yield yet, but things are starting to grow in, and it looks absolutely awesome. On top of that, I'm really liking the dung beetles in the middle. I don't know why, I just feel like this whole thing fits, and it is funny that it's in the shape of a cryopod and everything, but I'm loving this. I'm really happy we did this. One more thing I do want to mention, guys. I do want to apologize again that this video, or yesterday's video rather, was a day late. It was supposed to come out on Monday. It ended up coming out on Tuesday. Ended up coming out yesterday. And again, I want to apologize. It's one of those things. I jumped into the recording software and realized that I had like 3.5 hours of footage to show you guys. And obviously, I can't do a 3.5 hour video. So I did the best I could with editing it, and I didn't want to take too much out, but yet again, it's an 1.5 hour video. There is a lot in that episode. But overall, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the last video. I honestly hate being late with the videos. I like to kind of set like a schedule and everything, and I hate having to miss deadlines and everything like that. But overall, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the last episode. I hope you guys understand. Today we're going to do part 2, essentially, which is all about base locations. Because, yes, guys, we did just do this upgrade and everything, but, you know, the writing's on the wall. Eventually, we are going to have to leave our starter base, and I think we're getting to that point. I love this upgrade. I don't know how much more we're going to do on the inside. I think we're just going to start looking at different pastures and everything like that. So, today's episode might be a little bit shorter, guys, because again, I am going to show off 2 locations that I really like, and I want you guys to decide where we go next. Now, keep in mind, doesn't mean that next episode we're going to be moving base. This is going to be in the next couple weeks. But I kind of want to get the ball rolling and kind of figuring out where the next step is. There's going to be 2 other locations I am going to show you guys in this episode. One is an honorable mention. Personally don't want to build there, but I think it's a really good spot that I think you guys should know of, and I'll tell you guys what I like about it. I'll tell you guys why I'm not building there either also. And then the other one is I want to show you my final base location spot on this map, because I do already have a spot picked out. I've talked about it earlier in the series, but I want to show that off. I just want to let you guys know that is off the table. We're not going to actually build at that spot, at least yet. I do want to show it off to you guys to give you guys ideas for the future. So, if you guys find yourself enjoying this episode, take a second, guys. Make sure to smash that like button. You guys have been doing really well with smashing the like button, comments, engagement is up on the channel. Keep it up, guys. Seriously, thank you guys so much for all your support with the series. Let's get started. Let's head over to option number 1, and, well, let me tell you guys all about it. So, guys, both base locations are actually over on the mainland here, and funny enough, they're actually pretty close to each other. Both spots are relatively close to kind of the centralized part of the map, which is really nice. They're both on plateaus, which is nice for spacing and all that kind of stuff, but there's a couple of things in particular I like about each of these spots, and we'll start out with the first one up here. Let's see if we can get up here before anything attacks us. Jump, and I think we're good. Sweet. Okay, so this is base location number 1, basically, here, and I want to make sure those Deinonychus don't get up here. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to pull out the Desmodus just so we can kind of get an aerial view and everything like that. So like I said, this is option number 1 here, and just to show you on the map exactly where we are, along with GPS coordinates, this is basically where we are. So roughly 59.2 latitude, 71.6 longitude, and like I said, we're on a plateau here. There's a decent amount of space to work with. It's relatively flat too, which is really nice. So this is kind of the area that we're working with. And like I said, the idea is that I really, really want just a big flat area where I can build a big base. I can also build other buildings if I want to. Kind of stuff that I've always said I've wanted to do in previous series and never actually went ahead and did it. Another thing about this spot, which is kind of interesting, is right down here, I believe it's actually right over there, that's actually where we had the base in the last series for Fjord. So we're relatively close, so obviously I kind of know this area already and everything. There are a couple of downsides here, and you obviously saw them on the way up. We do have Deinonychus that spawn over here. Obviously we have an Argent over here too. So what we would have to do to prevent things from kind of getting into our base area is build like a big wall that kind of runs across here, just to prevent things from basically being able to get into our little area. Another thing that I'm going to want to do is start putting down stone foundations kind of all around the area, just to kind of prevent things from spawning inside our base. But I really do like this option, but we do have a couple of cons here, basically. And one of them is there's no water. I could have sworn there was actually a water, what is it called? The little water reservoir thing up here, but I'm genuinely not seeing it. So that is a bit of a downside. And actually both base locations, now that I think about it, both of them don't have a water reservoir. So we're going to have to do something a little bit different here. We're going to do something that I've always wanted to do in previous series, but again, never really got about doing it. Eventually what we'll do is we'll make a couple of like water towers, and we'll kind of go over that in due time. But the one thing that I really like about this spot, and I know it's going to be a little bit stupid, but it's this little area right out here. So if you guys see, it's kind of like a little pointed rock and everything. And this, to me, right here, just screams, let's make this a runway. So what I'm thinking is we could literally have our flying dinos kind of set in a little, like, pen and everything over here. And when we're ready for takeoff, pretty much just use this as a ramp. And then there we go. I don't know. I know it's really silly, but I am getting some ideas and stuff with this that we could do, so that is the one unique thing about this spot that I really like, is the fact that we'll definitely utilize this as a runway. Maybe we'll make like a big house over here, kind of like if you guys have ever been to like private airports and stuff, they have the little like hangars and stuff for your private planes and stuff like that. Kind of like what we'll do here. We'll kind of make a hangar for the Argents, the Desmodus, the Maywing, all that stuff, and we'll kind of make this our own little ramp, our little liftoff spot, our little runway, if you will, to basically go out into the world of Fjord. So that is option number 1. If you guys are interested in the spot, if you guys want me to end up building the next base here, definitely throw in the comments below option number 1. Again, if you guys are interested in this base location, checking it out for yourself, obviously we're on the mainland of Fjord, along with, you know what, I'm just going to drop the GPS to here. That's going to just make life so much easier for us. So let's do that again. So roughly 60 latitude, 70 longitude is kind of where you're looking at. Nice location overall, though, honestly. I really do like this spot. But let's move on to option number 2. And before heading over to option 2, looks like we got a yellow drop down here. So let's see what we got. Anything good? I probably shouldn't have went this far out in case there's direwolves and stuff. Nah, not worth it. Alright, and this is option number 2 here, and just to give you guys an idea of where we are roughly, let's pull out the map. We are at roughly 47 latitude, 60.5 longitude. Now, we got a little bit of an ant. Let's get rid of you guys first. 2 out of 3. Yeah, man. There we go. Perfect. Okay, let's get the Desmodus out. Let's check out the area here. Now, this area is actually pretty unique. If you guys don't know, this is the spot that has, like, the golden... It's like the golden plateau, or whatever you want to call it. It's the one that basically has all the gold on the side of it and everything. And honestly, I've always wanted to do something here. So what I like about it is, again, it is on a plateau. It's relatively safe. Obviously, it's a relatively flat area, similar to exactly what I said with the other one. Now, The difference is, though, this is the only choke point that you have, so we don't really have to do a lot of building. I can literally just put a behemoth gate or something at this front door, and we're set. Yeah, we'll have to put down foundations and stuff like that in order to keep dinos from spawning in. We'll have to throw this Bronto off the cliff, the whole nine. It doesn't have a runway out here, which kind of stinks, but we do have these pink plants, and if you guys remember from the Giga episode, these will get us a ton of berries. So if you are looking at narco berry production and stuff, these are the plants to have. Now, the downside with this base, and technically, I guess it would be the other one too, in order for us to build the base, we may have to knock down a few trees, which I'm a little bit worried in doing that because I really don't want to get rid of the whole PvE vibe of this place. Like, I really like having the just nature kind of around you, let's put it that way. So it is a bit of an option. I'm going to be honest, out of the two spots, I honestly prefer this one. But of course, I'm going to let you guys kind of vote. If you guys are honestly really preferring option number one, then we'll do something there. But I'm really liking this option. Now, this, along with the first option, does not have a water reservoir or anything like that. So again, we will have to make our own little, like, water tower, which we might have to make a couple of them, honestly, to kind of just make sure that we can keep water production going here. That is the downside with both of these plateaus, is there's just no water or anything like that. So we'll have to get that all figured out, but honestly, I really like this spot between the two. But of course, I'm going to let you guys vote on it. If you guys honestly prefer this option over option number one, throw option number two in the comments. Another thing I did want to mention about this area too is the teleporter's right down here. That's actually the realm room for Fjordur, which we did a lot in the last series using that. Not so much this series so far, because I have had issues in the past of issues with teleporting and stuff like that using that, and I don't want to end up losing stuff. Whether it's dinos, whether it's items, whatever. There was a lot of crashing a couple months ago, so that's why I've kind of dealt with just doing the... Oh, I can't do it on my thing right now, but you guys know what I mean. The teleportation that you do on your character here, basically. But this is option number two. Personally, I do prefer the spot over the two, but of course, you guys can let me know in the comments, which one do you prefer? Do you guys prefer option number one or option number two? And then we'll kind of vote from there and figure out where our next base location is going to be. Now, I do want to go over a consolation one, or a runner-up, or a honorable mention, whatever you want to call it. This base location is good. I just personally am not going to build here in this series, but I did want to go over it because there is some really good things about the spot, and it's a matter of finding where the heck it is. That's the only thing. I always feel like I fly over it so many times, and yet I still can never remember where it is. So it's a really big plateau. Yeah, that's kind of what the series is all about. Just like, I don't know, I'm really liking the plateaus. And of course, there are the pre-made structures and stuff. I don't know. I'm not really one of those that's going to build in the castle. I'm not really one of those that's going to do... the pre-made structures are kind of cool, don't get me wrong. This is actually it right here, interestingly enough. And let's take a look and see what the coordinates are, because I'm actually pretty certain this is even closer to 50-50. Yeah, it's not much, but this is 47.5 latitude, 69.6 longitude. Again, a really big area, and we'll throw out the Desmodus again. Really big area that you're working with and everything. And what's nice about this spot is, obviously, we have water as a resource here, which is really good. This water, actually, and funny enough, is deep enough. Apparently, you can breed your bassies in here. You can breed your megalodons in here. It's actually a pretty deep water source for being here. So the water is definitely positive. The fact that you can breed your water dinos is definitely positive. We have the pink plants, which is cool. The only reason why I'm personally not going to build here, this is a huge area that you kind of have to cut off in order to prevent spawns from either spawning inside of your base or from them like actually being able to get in. I mean, it is a big ask, and most of this, I will say 75% of this is just, you know, it's cliffs, you know what I mean? But you do have a certain spot. So you have the choke point over here that basically you can just put up, kind of like what we're going to do with the option number two, which is just put a big gate at the front, and you should be good here. But along the side, if I'm not mistaken, there are a couple, yeah, I think it's right over here. Is it here? Yeah, here we go. This whole thing you'd have to cut off too, because dinos can actually get from down here, and if what are they called? Deinonychus spawn down here, so you can actually get them kind of running into your base. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot that you have to cut off here, personally, and that's a little bit of too much of a daunting task for me, I'm gonna be honest. It is probably a really, really good base location. I've heard very, very good things about this, but it's a little bit just too big for what I'm looking for, basically. You guys know, I'm not into making the huge bases anymore and stuff like that. I kind of want to make them small, compact, and not really time-consuming, if that makes sense. So, this is option number this isn't option number 3. This is a runner-up or a honorable mention. If you guys want to build here, definitely tell me kind of how you ended up building, how it's working out for you, all that. But this is a really good option. Personally, I'm just not going to build here, but I did want to bring it up because it is a really, really nice spot. So this last spot that we're actually heading to is where the final base is going to be for the series, and before we actually get there, I did want to kind of throw this one out to you guys, because I really genuinely like this spot. In my opinion, this is probably like a starter base location and stuff like that, because of just the relative size. I don't know what it is, I'm just a real fan of having the man-made structures and everything like that. I don't know, just having the bridge, it just gives it a whole different feel to the game and everything. I really, really like that, and you end up getting the bridge on both sides, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll kind of cut through the trees and stuff here. You guys can see there's another ramp. What's nice about the spot is it is relatively small. I mean, this is pretty much the area you're working with, but it is relatively flat. You have 2 choke points here, so you'll have to go ahead and put a stone gate up here, a stone gate on this side, and you're all good. But relatively flat, and you get a really nice view. I mean, you have the waterfall in the background. I'm a fan of having the waterfalls and stuff, so I definitely really, really like this spot. Like I said, this is something that I would like to do for like a beginner base location and stuff like that. And you're looking at roughly 35.9 in latitude, 41.8 longitude. Definitely wanted to show this off, because genuinely, I really like this as a starter base location. And if I didn't end up building in our spot, and I ended up spawning on this side of Fiodor, this is probably one of the spots we would have started out the series with, because genuinely I really like that spot, just haven't had a chance to actually try it out. Another spot I wanted to mention was right over here too. Again, another starter spot and everything is this guy right over here, and it's actually right next to the base location that I want to talk about, and that's kind of where we're gonna finish up the series kind of base. But I really like this spot too. I really do. For starting out and everything, the spot seems really, really nice. Biggest downside is that big tree in the middle, because personally, I'd really, really like to keep that tree and kind of build the base around it, which is why I think it's more of a starter base specifically, where you got the water source right here, you have the waterfall in the background, you keep the big tree here, and you kind of build a little, like, little structures and stuff around the tree. I guess you can get rid of it, but personally, that's what makes the spot, in my opinion, so I probably wouldn't touch that. Everything else can go, though. But yeah, this is a pretty cool little spot, honestly. Like it, again, probably more of a starter base specifically, but now we got the big one. And this I've talked about earlier in the series, I've talked about it in the last series. It's happening. This is going to be the final base location for this series and everything, guys. I want to do something here. I've always had this crazy idea of doing like a big compound here, having all different, almost like a village, if you will, honestly, in this area. It's relatively flat. Obviously there's dillos here, there's compies, and there's like dodos and shrikes, and that's like it. And then you got a couple of ichthyornises here and there. I really like this ramp. Oh, you get carbos and lystros too. I really like this ramp, and the idea of it being like right next to the water, I've always wanted to do kind of like, I don't know, this could be a whole like fishing dock and everything like that. We can have the boats lined up, we can put a couple of rafts out here, we can put a couple canoes out here, we can make a big like fisherman's wharf kind of idea, if you guys know exactly what I'm talking about, that kind of gist though. And then we kind of work ourselves up here to the actual town, and we'll kind of put a couple of homes here, we'll put a couple of, we'll make like an actual, like, how do I put it? Like a specific house for production, a specific house for, like a greenhouse, if you will, all that stuff. And we'll kind of make a whole town out of this. But genuinely, I really like this spot. This is something I've always talked about building, something big, something massive here. Just something to kind of, like, a good end-of-series base, if you will. This location, by the way, just to show you guys where we are on the map, it's a little bit easy because it's literally the island that shows up here. 38.2 latitude, 24.2 longitude. There's a couple of really good resources around the area too, if I'm not mistaken. So right up, it's kind of there. It's a little tough to see right now, but there's a huge metal area up there, so we have access to that. We obviously have access to water too, which is really nice comparatively to the other two options that I'm giving you guys. Water is going to be definitely nice, being close to that at all times. Safe area. We don't have to really worry about threats unless the dodos rise up against us. We'll have to see what happens. And yeah, I really like this spot. Now, guys, very short episode, I will admit, 100%. I am going to wrap it up here, though. I know it's a really short one, guys, but with the last episode being an hour and 30 minutes, I thought, well, let's make this one short, sweet, to the point, which was show up base locations. You guys can vote, and that's going to be that, essentially. So, kind of evens everything out, let's put it that way. So, kind of going over everything, kind of recapping everything. If you guys like base location number 1, in the comments, throw option number 1. If you guys prefer option number 2, throw option number 2. Let me know in the comments. We'll kind of figure out where we're going to be heading next. And by the way, guys, I'm going to mention it again. This doesn't mean next episode we are starting to build the next base. No, it's going to be starting in the next few weeks. Probably going to do a little bit here and there anyways. I'm not going to just dedicate one episode to it. We'll kind of figure it out along the way. But guys, again, make sure to throw in the comments which place you prefer. I personally prefer number 2, but if you guys are killing option number 1 as a landslide, then yeah, we'll build there. You know what I mean? But if it was up to me, I would say option number 2. But let me know what you guys prefer in the comments below. That is going to wrap up this episode. Short, sweet, and to the point. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to smash that like button. And on top of that, if you guys are enjoying the ARK content, make sure to hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel out. And I'll see you guys in the next one.